Hello, all. Dr. Bruce here with another edition of Spiritual Hitchhikers Guide to the Afterlife. Practical Guide to the Afterlife, as a matter of fact, and beyond. My very special guest today is my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Toni Reilly, who just happens to be Australia's premier past life regression specialist with over 20 years' experience in the field. And she was also my first guest on the Spiritual Hitchhikers a couple of months ago. She'll be joining me from Brisbane, Australia. Some of you may remember Toni from a show she and I first did, several years ago. And we reprised it for a little while last year. Toni is recently returned, and I'm just looking for her to show up here. Toni is recently returned from a 3-week jaunt to the United Kingdom, where she attended the world renowned Mediumship and Psychic Sciences School off the Findlay College in England, and also spent some time poking around haunted castles, or so she tells me. Now, today we're going to dive deep into the wildly misunderstood art of mediumship, its rise in popularity, and actually, as she tells me, its use in resolving trauma around death. Toni promises to spill the beans on what goes on in a school for mediums. I didn't even know one existed before Toni told me, and maybe maybe if we twist her arm, she'll give us some tips about how to contact our dearly departed. And maybe if I asked her nicely, she might even tell us a ghost story or two. The thing with Toni is you never really know. And I'm just waiting for her to show up here. Where are you, Toni? Give it a couple of minutes for her to sign on here. Oh, maybe she's having some problems, internet problems. Well, I don't think we can blame that on Mercury retrograde. That's all over by now. So just waiting for Toni to join us. Come on, Toni. Let me give her a buzz here. You want to join us now, Toni? Nope. I guess she's having a bit of a problem signing on there. Maybe the internet is kind of dicey over there now. Toni, where are you? Well, Tony's obviously having a bit of a problem here. And she tells me, she's messaging me that she is on and she sent a request, but that is not showing up. She's been on since the start. Try rejoining it, Tony. Hmm. It's got to be on my end then. I just got a message from somebody that says that Tony is on and watching, and it's not showing up on my end. And I don't know why. It's showing up. Let's try it this way. I'm going to send an invite. There she is. What was that all about?
I don't
That
know.
was crazy. We had other people out there watching. Okay. I hope, well, I'm sure nobody left. Okay. The intricacies of the internet.
Oh,
Amazing. Okay.
indeed.
And how are you tonight, Tony?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Okay. Well, exceptionally well. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were able to join us. So I think I gave you a good build up. Told them that you had what you did at Arthur Findlay School of
Mhm.
Mediumship, which I really didn't even know there was one such a thing. And I also understand that this wasn't the first time you attended the college.
No, I have been there 5 times. The time that I went this time is or was 12 years since I've been there.
Okay. What's changed since you've been there?
Oh, what's changed there? Well, in some ways, nothing changes because it's a beautiful old building. Um, a little like Hogwarts, some say. It certainly looks or appears that way, but there's been some changes in the way that mediumship is taught, which I felt 12 years ago needed to happen, where it's a little more self-awareness based for the person. The way it used to be is they very much taught you to get evidence that you have a passed over person with you, which is very clinical in some ways, but it does prove to a person that you have their loved one.
I imagine it would. How old is the course there? I'm sure the building is ancient, right?
How
When,
old's the, well, it's not one course, it's a different course each week. Each course is 7 days live in, but there are many tutors that tutor there. So you go on a course with the various different tutors, and there's a whole schedule year round.
okay. Now, so what is a typical day like at Findlay College? Run us through
Well,
it.
at Arthur Findlay College, it's because you live in, so you are, if depending on the accommodation you choose, you might be like in boarding school style accommodation, which we were. So we were all together in a room, a lot of fun. So you breakfast, breakfast in the morning. You start class at 9, and you go to classes all day with lots of breaks as well till 9 o'clock at night, and then you can socialise after that. So the whole day, every day, you're having these hour and a half sessions
Mm.
where you're learning, practicing, and yeah, delving right into mediumship
So
and
you
your own skills.
so you're learning both theory and it's both theory and practicum?
There's no theory. There's no theory to mediumship. It's an absolute. Every single person can be in touch with passed over spirits. So what you're doing there is you are practicing how you get this information through, or how you connect to the passed over people.
So
So
I'm sure
that's
there's
why,
more than one technique. There's more than one technique to do that. Can you describe some of the techniques?
well, it's more that each individual has to go and sit quietly, well, not necessarily, but learn how the feeling that you get as an individual when somebody's there in your aura, when a passed over person is there. So the technique is really about working out how does it work for you, or how do you work with spirit world, they call it at Arthur Findlay College. So that's what it's all about. And that's why you can go many, 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 many times, because that development is not subjective, but it is different for each person. And it's different for each spirit that comes through as well, because they're giving you different information. So the medium is working out, what do the signs mean that the spirit is giving them, and how do they pass them over to the person that the spirit is wanting to connect with?
Oh.
Yeah.
Now that's fascinating. When you see, because old TV shows, or even some photos that are on the internet of mediumship seances. So is anything like that where people sit around a table and join hands and?
Well, it's not there, not at these daily classes, but that type of thing is still building energy so that you can communicate with the spirit world. So it's a very valid form of development to sit in seance, which another word for seance is a meditation circle, just to give it a normal name. But yes, it's just about the people within that circle building energy so that they can feel the spirit energy.
So you use it on the phrase there. I heard building energy. So does it work in a different way? I know you could probably, you're probably learning to do a one-on-one mediumship reading too there, correct? But does it also work in a certain way when you do it as a group, where you build a certain type of, as you said, build energy?
Building energy means that collectively together your energy is stronger and easy for the spirit to come in. But generally, there's one medium. At mediumship school, everyone's a medium. But generally, if you are working with a group of people from the public, let's say, then there'll be one medium. And that medium is able to connect with people from the people that want a message.
Mhm.
The medium is absolutely able to connect with their loved ones in the afterlife.
And you also learn to do that then, or everybody there, the medium, I guess the person leading that circle was able to do it, but then the students also learn to do that, right?
Well, everybody that goes to Arthur Findlay College and probably does mediumship training anywhere, they all, actually everybody's mediumistic, but people who study it or train or try to develop it, because they're drawn to use it generally to help people.
Mm.
So it's something that everybody has the capacity to do. It's just about how interested you are. Most people really want to hear from their person in the afterlife, so they're not necessarily interested in becoming a medium, a working medium. Yeah. But to your group question, yes, you can have groups of people come in, but also something that we do a lot of at Arthur Findlay College and elsewhere is, it's called demonstrating, which means there's one medium up the front on stage or in front of the group, and they are connecting with spirit or a spirit and passing over what they have. And then there'll be people in the audience, can be hundreds, can be thousands. There'll be someone there who can take this spirit, who understands who it is. The medium's job is to get enough information from that spirit to assure that the person who owns that spirit gets that message.
So people go to the school. Not everybody goes there to learn to become a medium. Some people just go there to get messages. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, not actually, no. They would go there to the demonstrations, or they do have public services because they have spiritualist church there at the college. But no, everybody who's going to do the training courses, they would be mediums.
How about you? Did you feel a personal connection or even a communication with someone from the beyond, such as one of your departed friends or
Oh, I
relatives?
absolutely did. I absolutely did. And every time you go there, because you're practicing with another medium, or the people are on demonstrating, you're getting messages from your, in my case, my loved ones in the afterlife all the time. It's extraordinary.
Hmm. What kind of messages did they share? A loved one from the afterlife.
Well, it's going to be super unique to each person, but generally speaking, it will be always of um, they're okay, but more, it's not just, it depends if that person is in grief, for example, and they need to know that their person in the afterlife is okay, then that's the kind of message you get. For me, it's not the kind of message that I need to receive. So for me, it would be um, my friend who I went to Arthur Findlay College because of, she's also my mentor. She would come through and say, keep going. I'm so pleased with the legacy that it's continuing. She would say things like that. But so the message is very individual to each person. And it might be, for example, someone else is going to have a baby soon, or they want one. And maybe the message will be, you'll be having a baby soon.
Hmm.
These kinds of things. It's all very personal, and it's all for the individual that the spirit's coming through for.
That's fascinating. Were there any instances there where, some people are very logical, and as we have a saying here in the United States, I'm from Missouri, show me. Okay, it's a show me state, which means they're skeptical. So, but I don't suppose you have many skeptical people going to something like that. But do the people that the souls, the spirits that were contacted, were they able to impart information that that person who was getting the information was saying, my God, that is so and so?
It's it is always like that. It's always the case. And that's the whole point of going and developing, is that you get really strong connection and strong messages and strong evidence that is able to be accepted by the person that the spirits come to give a message to connect with.
Most people, understandably, think that mediumship is reserved for people like the mediums you see on TV. You have Tyler Henry, the Long Island medium, Teresa Caputo, John Edwards, James Van Prague. So it seems that you're saying that anyone can learn to communicate with the dead.
I am saying that, absolutely. And I think if you're interested in this and in these realms, then you realize that it's it's widespread. It's not for the select few. The ones that you just mentioned are all American mediums, and obviously they have profile because they're in the media, they're on television, those types of things. But there are so many more,
No.
even so many more high profile mediums, but more than the high profile ones, there are so many everyday people who are
More
mediums.
than you would think, because when I used to do my live trainings for usually with the past life regression, although that did come for the clinical ectotherapy trainings too. I would regularly have mediums
Yeah.
in my group there. Yeah.
Yeah. But well, they're working with the soul energy and the afterlife. So naturally they are, usually anyway, they will be very interested or specializing even in past lives and hypnotherapy and any type of healing modality.
I
So
guess it
it
fits.
kind of goes hand in hand.
I had one. I had one tell me that at the break, she says, while you were lecturing up there, on one side of you, I saw George Washington, and on the other side, I saw Marilyn Monroe. So I
Who,
told her, you tell George to take a hike. I want to spend some time with Marilyn.
who said that?
A medium. She said she saw George Washington on one side of me and Marilyn Monroe on the other while I was lecturing. And I told
Oh,
her, tell George to take a hike. I want to spend some time with Marilyn.
oh, really? Really? Okay.
But
Then
I've had other mediums in my classes who have seen my family around me too. So
yeah. Yeah, I think that one of the reasons that mediumship cops a bit of a bad rap is people when there's the famous element or saying that they've connected with someone famous who's died. You can do that, but why? So it's like, unless they were a relative of yours, so unless Elvis was a relative of mine or the person that I'm being a medium for, then why would he come through? So it's all, I think that's where it all gets a little bit, people make fun of it and think that it's not as real as it actually is. But absolutely, without doubt, someone who you've been connected with in life can come through for you, and a medium can be that conduit to connect you together again.
yes, but if that person that has been soul that's been purportedly been connected with, if they're giving a person information that only they would know, that's pretty impressive.
That's impressive. That's what's called evidence, where, yes, and the idea is that that spirit can give something very strong so that the recipient, the receiver of them is, well, mind blown, I suppose. They're like, oh, I never told anyone that, or no one else would know that. So that's what you go to develop. It is the art of providing such a strong connection with the spirit that you can give mind-blowing information across that that person knows is only something that they know.
Hmm. I know what you took was a whole week course. You spent many hours there, but is there something that you can tell our viewers who are interested in just seeing if they can contact someone from the great beyond?
So one of the things that I love to focus on is having people connect with their own loved ones in the afterlife. So, and we do that through facilitation of reconnection. Um, but the other thing that people can watch out for, and I have got a workshop coming up actually online, show me the signs, where you can explain to people the subtle things that they can take notice of, where they will know that somebody is there for them. A lot of people are sensitive enough that they can feel it anyway. And sometimes it's so obvious, where they maybe see something with their open eyes, or there's a dent in the bed so they know what happened there, but someone sat on the bed. But if it's not that obvious and it's subtle, and a lot of what they do is to
Like
get through.
like finding feathers.
Yeah, finding feathers.
What's the one that say? Oh, is it pennies or dimes?
Yeah,
That's American. We use dime, but there's certain coins that continually show up. We have a friend of our family whose her son tragically passed away at a very young age, and she shows us evidence of that in the picture. She continually seeing hearts.
there you go.
Oh, she.
And it's that, the person receiving it, they usually they will know it's for them, but some people need it to be pointed out.
Hmm.
And it might be that someone, my friend who went, my mentor, she used to open the doors a certain amount of way. Took me ages to realize that it actually was her doing that, because everyone's pretty logical really down here on this planet. But yes, they can do all manner of things, but something that's probably less obvious as than something opening would be taking notice of feathers. I think people can get also a bit skeptical and be like, well, feathers are everywhere, but they're not. And you might be walking along on the footpath with your friend, and your friend doesn't see it, but you see it. So it's like, it's if it's for you, it's you who will look at it. But certainly, I think once you start to realize the way that your person does send you signs, it will be something like feathers. We see lots of dragonflies. Sometimes, I know they are in Australia, but sometimes they appear in the weirdest places. Butterflies is another thing. Birds, even birds coming close when they just wouldn't usually do that. They might fly right up to your window or something and peer in. Those are some really simple things that you'll see. Or people will wake up or look at the clock at a certain time, and it might be the time that equates to a date that's relevant, or it might be a time that that person is aware of, relates to their person in the afterlife, the date they went, something like
That's
that, a number that they
that is
love.
fascinating. That's a fascinating statement. Look at that. I wake up every morning like at two. It seems that I wake up something like 2:33 or 2:11. I forget what, but like 2:11. So I should be looking what connection that might have in my life among the people who have passed, or if there is a connection,
Uh,
and maybe they're trying to, maybe is it possible that they're trying to forge a pathway, and it's kind of a hit me upside the head, hey look, we're trying we got something for you here. So people have to be more
Absolutely.
about
Well, the numbers work in many ways. So they can be messages from your spirit people, or they might be messages from your subconscious. But I think, for example, you said 211. It would be worth seeing, is anyone born on February 11th, or did they pass then, or was it an anniversary?
that.
That kind of thing. So, or is it your birthday? So the numbers can point to all sorts of things. But 211, it could be February 11th or 2nd of November.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
We're just
you
about,
got to be a little
you're
bit,
reading my mind. I was just
yeah.
about to say that you folks down under, I guess, across the pond too, you do that a little differently than we do. Is there, okay, so that what you're saying there is for us to be more cognitive of what could possibly be some type of communication from the
Absolutely.
departed.
That's what I'm
How
saying.
about,
Yes.
okay, is there anything that we can do from a meditative standpoint?
Yes,
How
you can
do
meditate
we do that?
to connect. Yes, you can meditate, and you can sit quietly and meditate. For some people that's really difficult, but you don't have to be meditative either. But if you meditation helps a lot. So you can practice and ask your person to come visit you. And then what you have to do is you won't miss it if it happens, because you can feel it. And for some people they'll see it with their clair senses. So in their mind they'll see, um, and or they'll feel when someone's there in their energy. You can feel it in your waking days if you're very mediumistic. So it might be that you get, I know for me, I get a buzz on my head in a certain spot, and people get it in all different ways. But also it might be that they can feel the energy change in a certain part of their body where they know.
I know in my case, my father was a lifelong pipe smoker. And not too many of those left these days. But every once in a while, I will smell his particular. It was Mixture 79, which was the pipe tobacco, one of the famous ones. But every once in a while, I'll smell that. No one's around is smoking a pipe.
Yeah. So that's interesting, isn't it, when you can smell things, and it's usually for a short time. The
Mm.
other thing that you could watch out for is they can also, not only can they put that smell there, they can give you physical symptoms. So let's say if your dad had bad knees, maybe your knees start to feel really sore, and or one does, or you feel a symptom that you know. So that's also another way that they can get through to you. And it can be really alarming because it's so effective. They're so effective getting through that it feels like it's your knees that are sore, or you're, having breathing difficulties or whatever.
Mm. That's fascinating.
Physical
You know,
symptoms.
it really is. And do you offer these services, mediumship services, to people, or do you have someone that who would offer these services? If anybody, can it be done online? That's a good question.
All of yes, 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 yes.
Every,
So my daughter Coco was in college with me. She's fantastic, fantastic medium, and she offers us these sessions. um I do to an extent, but more so Coco, and group we do group development.
Mm.
And yeah, there's all sorts of ways you can connect. With me, it would be more a session to connect you with your person, so
Gotcha.
facilitate for you to go into the afterlife and visit.
If you would be so kind, when we wrap things up here, after we wrap things up, I mean, it's the post is still up there. If you could put some of those contacts in the comments
I'm
for people who are
gonna
interested.
I'll also put in, I'm just doing it now. I've got a workshop coming up on the 26th of September.
So,
It's the day before in America, the evening, and for us in Australia, it's on that day. But you can register and come along. It's a 2-hour Zoom session, and we will go over showing you the signs, and also I will facilitate for you to meet your person in the afterlife, have a little catch up with them, have a connection with them. So, and it's, if you put in code FRIEND, 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 you can have that workshop for $47 Australian dollars. And I have put a link in the comments if anyone's interested to do that. Yeah, but otherwise, you can meditate, try and get them through. Sometimes I think people maybe discount dreams, but when you have a dream and it feels real, even if the person who's passed over looks much younger, they usually do when they come in a dream, even if it's even a little bit odd, if your person comes to you in a dream, it's actually them.
mm.
And it's very skilled from a spiritual perspective to be able to muster up the energy to come into your dreams.
But how do you know? How can you tell the difference? Because we dream about a lot of things. So let's face it. What it would be a giveaway that that is a visitation? I mean,
Well, the first thing is you will not forget it. You won't wake up and forget it like a lot of our subconscious dreams. You wake up and you
good.
don't remember what happened. But with a visit from one of your loved ones or someone from the spirit world, you'll remember. And it will feel absolutely real in there. Whether they come in and hug you or they come in and have a conversation with you or whatever's going on in the dream, it's unforgettable. That would be the most key uh, thing to know that it was real, a real visit.
Now, everybody out there, I advise you to take advantage of that. There's a very kind offer that Tony is making on that. I don't know what the exchange rate is, okay, right now
For
between that.
you, for Americans, probably half.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that you're getting a great deal, folks. 47 Australian,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Could be 27,
Yeah.
$30
It'd be something
of
like that.
US, something like that.
Yeah.
That's a, well, okay, I want to thank you very much. And before we close, and we'll do this again sometime. This is the second time I've had Tony. We've done a lot of things together, and you'll see both of us together again in the next couple of months. But as most of you know, I also train students in how to conduct past life regression and therapy, and become a board certified past life regression therapist. For more than 40 years, I've been doing this in live classes where I get people together, hotel rooms and whatnot. Lately, one-on-one online. But I've been working on an online, on-demand, what these days they're calling evergreen training that looks like it's topping out at 23 modules, a PDF training manual with more than 50 scripts. That'll be over 300 pages. Also, a bunch of extra peripheral material, which you'll need to do it right. Oh, by the way, you'll also get a year's free mentorship from me thrown into the mix. I expect everything to come together and be ready for release in about 2 months. I also expect it to retail in the $2,000 to $3,000 range. That's US dollars, by the way. However, on Monday, fingers crossed, I'm going to release what's known as a beta version, as a test run, to get feedback from students and also work out the inevitable bugs, like what happens when you try to go online and bring somebody on from across the world. Right? It'll contain everything in the final alpha version, along with the board certification. I'm going to offer that to an initial group of 15 people for just $500 each. Now, if this is something that might be and that's the first 15, if this is something that might be of interest to you, becoming a full or part-time past life regression therapist, or even incorporating into an existing business or profession. I've got a lot of massage therapists that have taught this through, other hypnotherapists too, obviously, Reiki practitioners, spiritual counselors. So if this is something that you think you might want to learn at $500 instead of 2,000 or 3,000, just for agreeing to complete the program and give me feedback about that beta version, then please drop me a line at either my email or direct message me and I'll get back to you. And in the comments here, I believe if I did it right, I put a link to the web page on that particular training, and that's a working web page that's still in design, but it is up on my website. It's a past life regression training. By the way, if you're going to learn how to do past life regressions, don't you think it would make sense to have experience them for yourself? So as part of the training, I'm going to include 4 separate past life regressions, one of which is a between lives session, by the way. That in itself is a $2,000 value. Now, the beta version is rolling out hopefully on Monday. So if this is something that you'd be interested at the $500 price, act soon, because this is just for the first 15 people. And like I said, you can read about it on the webpage. The link is should be in the comments. Now on to our next show. It's scheduled for
Oh,
Wednesday. Yes.
oh, sorry, Dr. Bruce. I was wondering if we can answer some comments.
Oh,
I can read them.
that's right. Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah, can we do that? I can see them here, so I'm going to acknowledge. Hello, everybody. I love that you've commented, and I'm going to just go through them.
Well, you do that
And
because I'm
Dr.
not
Bruce,
seeing
you've
them.
got a great offer there too, by the way.
I'm
And
not
the
seeing them.
link
So you
is
go
in the
through it,
comments.
please.
So, hello, Shay. I see you there. And Beck and Elaine. And Peter has commented, I think hearing from people is nice, but the idea of carrying messages sounds like a heavy responsibility. It's not. It's a beautiful thing to do, mediumship. It's lovely for the medium and it's absolutely lovely for the people who receive. So it's always a very positive thing. And Ari said in Brazil they have a medium called Chico Xavier. Um, hey, Sarah. Sarah's listening from the north of Wales in the UK, and she loves things like this. That's where we just were, Sarah, over in well, not Wales, but I need to go there. There's a castle there that I want to explore from a past life, but we were in Scotland and England. Let's see. Hello, Robin. Robin says she loves mediumship. I love Robin. Brilliant medium and therapist. Let's see. Oh, Ari says in Brazil. Can you see these, Dr. Bruce? Ari says in Brazil, the third most important religion is Spiritism.
Really?
That's cool. Yeah,
I
that's
did not
wonderful.
know that.
And yeah, Peggy says, so if you should prematurely travel to the next life, will you continue membership via mediumship? Um, well, Peggy, that's a little bit of a whole topic, maybe for another live with Dr. Bruce. But nobody leaves prematurely. We all go on our
According to
date.
plan.
Yeah. And that looks like all of the comments for the moment, but it was lovely to have them. I don't see any real questions there, but
It's going to
so
end the
Dr. Bruce,
comments. The comment section will still be available because when we're done here, this is going to go on the group. And also, if anyone wants to access it or watch it later on too. And also, I place these in the featured section, which is at the top of the page. So you
excellent.
can find it. So you can put the comments in there. I'm sure Tony will answer those.
I
Uh,
will.
I'm okay.
And what you would started to say what your next show was. What's your
Yeah,
next
that's
show?
scheduled for Wednesday, September 25th at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, which is 2 weeks from now. Um, so I got a question for you out there. What makes me me and you you? I'm serious. Did you ever think about that? which of course logically leads to a whole host of other questions, such as why do I experience as me and not experience as you? What is the single most fundamental, individual, intrinsic element that distinguishes me from you, or you from your next door neighbor? The answer to all of these questions is consciousness, that elusive, mysterious aspect of human experience, and has captivated philosophers, scientists, and thinkers for centuries. Here's another question. How does this whole business of reincarnation work? Ever think about it? For instance, after your last life, why did your soul reincarnate as you and not as your Aunt Fanny? And here's the real kicker. How did your soul get into your body? It didn't take the bus, didn't take the subway. Here's a hint. It all ties to consciousness. On the next show, I'm going to examine various perspectives and consider theories that might allow us to unravel its enigmatic essence and show its relationship to the impermanence of death, the afterlife, and what might lie beyond the afterlife, namely reincarnation. And I'm also going to advance my unified theory of reincarnation, which will take it out of the realm of the New Age, metaphysical, spiritual domain jargon and provide a theoretical, quantum physical framework for the idea of reincarnation. We're going to suggest how consciousness, reincarnation, and the afterlife might work on a practical, fundamental, and mechanical level, and how it might be supported by certain principles of quantum physics, like quantum entanglement, string theory, quantum foam, primacy of the observer, to name just a few. So get ready. Get ready for a wild ride through the cosmos, because you're never going to think of consciousness, reincarnation, and the afterlife in the same way again. I promise. And tell your friends about us. Remember, since this show is done within the Facebook group Reincarnation, Past Lives, and the Afterlife, they'll have to be a member to join in, to tune in. So until Wednesday, the 25th, and as always, this is Dr. Bruce and Dr. Toni wishing you all happy hitchhiking and happy trails. See you in two. Bye bye.